Ladies and gents, welcome to a big best of five decider. These players have made it through 3 rounds, and they are now down to this series. If they win this series, they are confirmed to be top 48 in the world. A big achievement for both of them, the biggest achievement for both of them for sure. Now, I'm going to change this. I apologize for doing this. I'm going to change this to Z40. Maybe I shouldn't apologize, but that is more so what he's known as. And it's much easier to say as well. So, starting off in the red, we've got Z40, who is our favorite in this series. A very underrated player, around 2,300 rank. And for players who interact with him and players within the Asian scene, particularly the Taiwanese community, I think he's very, very strong. I've heard very good things from him, or about him, from very good players. And he's done pretty well to get here. He is playing as the Lithuanians in game number 1, which is Cross. In the blue, we've got Eli. And Eli is the biggest underdog story in all of Titans League. Potentially the biggest underdog story in Titans League history at this point. Because he's a 2K player. He's been around 2,100 elo, but 2K is like top couple hundred. And then he beat a 2,500 ranked player in Ming, who was the number 1 seed in the favorite. Then he beat the 4th seed in Pella, who is like 2,300 or something. And now he's here in this decider. Obviously, he had to win the first round too. So I've been pumped for him, being from the US, but also just the story. So, he's going for Mongols here. And I don't like it. He had Japanese on his draft. I think Japanese is a better civilization for this map. But I think he's had some awkward picks. I have been a little critical of where he's playing civilizations in my previous cast of him. I think he's always trying to do something that his opponents might not expect. Anyways, Mongols, wanting to rely a little bit on the hunt. They do have good scouting, but not a civilization you see suited for hybrid maps necessarily. Is there a world where he tries Fast Castle Step Lancer here? People have been trying it on Arabia from time to time. I'm thinking maybe that he tries that. I don't know. Eli does some funky stuff. Okay, so, anyways, Lithuanians probably still in many's eyes like number 1 or number 2 pick on this map. I think Lithuanians and Japanese. Again, does make me think, why would you pick Japanese on your draft if you're not going to play them? Maybe Japanese will be saved elsewhere. And there's the dock. We'll have a big focus on the pawns in this one. And Eli going out for the dock now. I love the scouting from Z40. Very quick to scouting. He's going to find... Oh, actually, he misses this. Very unfortunate. But he should be thorough and locate Eli's dock. And I'll say this about any potential fast castle strategy. I'll say this against anyone who's up against the Lithuanians. In this type of a position, your dock is extremely exposed. And it's very likely that it will get rushed. Lithuanians start with the plus 100 food. With a good build order, you will have an edge to the fishing ships and then an edge to feudal. And I guess at this point, Red doesn't know where Eli's TC is. But once you locate the TCs over here, there's not a lot stopping you from just walking over here and docking this. So this can happen on Cross, where one player has the easier path. But a lot of this just stems to, you do not know where your opponent's TC is before you dock. So I think had Eli known this, he might have actually preferred to walk a little bit further, dock further away. Something he's got to be thinking about. Eli saving this villager. And Daniel in my chat, who's a player that'll be in Platinum for this season, was in Gold last season, also from the US. And he's one of the bigger names that's been saying good things about Z40, by the way. He said that he thinks that Z40 is the better player, but that Daniel's gonna... Or not Dan... Oh, God. Eli, sorry, is going to have the better strats. And I got distracted here because Z40 went right into that TC, which is just brutal. Like, that is not what you want here at all. You need to have your scout to see if they're going to do any other additional docks and other pawns. You could obviously deny that. You could see what their opening's going to be. And I don't know if this was Eli's initial plan, but it looks to me like he's going to try for Man-at-Arms here. And because his opponent can't scout it, there's great opportunities for success here. By the way, guys, I apologize for the smoking lumberjacks. It's a capture age bug. Sometimes they're glowing, sometimes they're smoking. I don't know how to fix it. It happens from time to time. All right, so first game of the series. Z40 probably frustrated with himself right now. And he, too, is actually going to be adding militia. Should be able to afford to make the militia and then also get the upgrades. And for Eli, he's looking to wall up here. So he's looking to play very defensive. Typically, Mongols are more aggressive, right? Because the only big bonus you've been able to take advantage of is hunting faster. And after that wears off, you're just a generic civilization. I suppose the Lithuanians, they don't get any additional food till later on in Castle Age when they make TCs, but still. It does make sense, though. Your opponent doesn't know what's happening here. And I think Eli, oh, this is a good moment for him, guys. He should absolutely kill this militia with this scout, and he should take this fight. Oh, wait. Okay, actually, this could be good for either, depending on how you look at it. Man-at-Arm upgrade coming in right now for Z40, but he does not have a scout. So it's going to be Man-at-Arms into an archer range from both players, it looks like. No real pawn control in terms of contesting the other's pawns, but we do have a dock going up down here from Z40. Naturally, the Man-at-Arm upgrade is in faster for Z40 because he was in Feudal Age a little bit faster. And actually, this could be okay for him. He could lose this fight, but I think the trade... Oh, that was a really good engagement for Eli, actually. One of the units for Z40 got stuck, and he's just going to fight anyways. But yeah, anyways, I was going to say it might not end up being too bad. The scout's still going to be alive for Eli, and Eli's going to have archers following it up. But I do not like how late the range is here. Look at his wood count, guys. The better players are going to be able to spend their resources faster, and I'm seeing some issues for Eli. And he's not really able to get any damage done with this right now. At least that's what it seems like. Eli, only 3 fishing ships in his pond, adding a fire galley when there's nothing here. So I think there's some level of paranoia from him right now. And this villager is actually going to make a run for it. Could easily kill the scout, though. And there's an archer over here as well. It will be a little awkward for Z40 just for a moment or two, but he should be able to push this away with a bit of Vil Micro and Archer Micro. Okay, so skirms for Eli. I'm not loving the fact that he's only been on 3 fishing ships, though. And I think this is clearly a move of someone who's maybe nervous in the moment. That fire galley was completely unnecessary. You can just check with the fishing ship to see if there's a dock before adding that. But that takes a lot of APM, right? That takes a lot of speed and a lot of focus. Dock over here for Eli. Has not used his scout to scout the other pawns yet. He's just scouting the army, but he does have skirms. And he's going to go armor before fletching. Which means that his skirms are not going to take much damage from the enemy archers, but it doesn't give him the range that he might want to kill these archers. And I think Z40 is going to see the skirms. Z40 looking much more comfortable now, honestly. It's going to be on the hill. And he's playing into ranged units and playing into transitional economy. And he's done a good job. 4 fishing ships here. And he's just been spamming fishing ships down here. So he's got a nice eco lead. And if we look at res collected, as Eli's still struggling to do anything and he loses the scout, it's the food count, I think, is really going to start to spike here for Z40. Oops, I'm so sorry. Whoops. Okay, there we go. So 2 farms for Eli. He's going to add a few more. Farms are starting to come up for Z as well. Man-at-Arms hoping to do something, but again, after the initial battle, Eli hasn't really been able to get any damage done with these. So he's probably just going to go for a kill now. Actually, that was a nice bit of micro right there from both players, actually. Man-at-Arms go down, though. Skirms. Oh, you've got to kill these archers now, Eli. This is huge. You have armor, and you also have fletching. All these archers should be a gift. And Z40 is just going to try and kill as many skirms as he can by getting into the minimum range. But in the end, that's a really nice find for Eli. Ah! He ran away. Sorry, I'm a little nervous for the guy right now. Like, I'm a little nervous, but Z40 says, here, have a gift. Okay, well, that's like super sloppy from both players, but you know, I think that is probably the result that should have happened in the first place. So market coming up now for Eli, showing his eco imbalance a little bit. But he's going to wall up. I prefer to see him wall from the edge of the market to the other palisades here. I feel like this is going to make his gold unnecessarily awkward. He senses he needs to click up to Castle Age at a better time. uses the market to do so. And he'll be up here in a moment. But with 11 fishing ships, Z40's on the way up. And he's just going to kind of give up on archers at this point. His opponent's on skirms. And he's dropping stables, thinking about knights. Now, this is where the walls from Eli make a lot of sense. And the lack of scouting information from Z40's made this awkward for him. And he's going to just have to accept, that his opponent's fishing here. He can't really do anything about it. I think Eli has to expect knights right now. And this is a big moment. If Eli can find this, get a villager down here and dock, he could end up killing 6 fishing ships. Oh, but did Z40 see this? So important that both players are paying attention to their pawns right now. Oh, he sees the dock. Okay. And, okay, this will show on the minimap. And this will be something that Eli could check and see. If you see this, you need to make a fire galley immediately to defend your fish. This skirmisher, from what he's seen anyways, or I guess what he's not seen, that kind of makes Eli think that he could come down here and get some fishing going. All right, skirm's getting killed off. To be expected. Very good macro from Z40. I've been really impressed with it. He's played really calm and collected here. And he's added scouts now, so he's able to go for relic control. He's going for War Galley upgrade, and Eli will lose all of his fishing ships here. The positive for Eli, because this is not going to look good in a second. The positive for him is that he doesn't really need a lot of food eco to go cav archers. So he's gotten 3 ranged cav archers. Mongol cav archers do fire faster. And he picked Mongols for a reason. I was thinking maybe steppe lancers, but that's a little awkward on a map like this. He's just going to try all-in CA. And I think if Eli's going to have a chance in this series, it's going to be a lot of all-in strategies. He's just not as good a player over the course of the long run. The other thing I'll say about Eli that we should mention is he's going to fall behind here, right? The cav archers are being massed. Had to pull completely off of his gold because of failing to lock it down properly. But the quality of Eli that I found really interesting, especially in his previous series, is that he just hangs around. If Z40 doesn't kill him, if Z40 doesn't get a big mass, this could be dangerous. Like, I remember the Arabia game he had played in the previous rounds, and I thought he was super dead. But his opponent never really went for the final blow, never went for the kill. But right now, we actually see the opponent doing that. Now, does Eli know about this gold? Yeah, he should just go to this gold. He'll be fine. He could fall back to that gold. He's got ballistics coming in right now. No bloodlines. He does have the stable, but he can't afford bloodlines because he's been pulled off of his gold. Ballistics will be in for him, though. It still hasn't completely broken. And we'll see Z40 move forward now for a town center to invest into the eco. But, like, res collected, Z40's... I'm surprised he's not more ahead. He's 500 res collected ahead. He's got a really nice army comp he's working towards right now, but he needs to choose between ranged units and knights because these cav archers are insane. And Eli's like, this is why I choose the Mongols. He didn't kill me yet. He only killed 5 fishing ships. And I could see this working, especially since this isn't gated at all. Like, if you leave a hole there, it could be problematic. Lithuanians don't get Arbalest. So, you know, the continuation of crossbows could be a long-term problem. I think a lead skirm would make a lot of sense. Or a siege workshop and maybe some scorpions. But dang. T90's farming skills in my chat had a coffee with extra espresso. Nice. I'm saving some of my caffeine for later on in the day. It's going to be a long one. 3 best of 5s today. And they all could go to 5 games, depending. Okay, here we go. Cav Archer Micro. Good stuff from Eli. Eli takes the lead with the KD. He takes the score lead if that means anything to you. And the Mongol Cav Archers. Not doing too bad here. He's extremely fortunate as well to be able to get out of there without losing a Cav Archer. He's got 19 Cav Archers. Now look at the food count, though. He doesn't have horse collar yet for any farms he's going to reseed, if he reseeds farms. He's got 600 wood. He's got 20 on gold, 20 on wood, 7 on food. This is going to be all wood and all gold units. And he's not going to go imp anytime soon, but this seems like a target for him, right? And that's what he wants to push towards. We do now have some skirms on the way from Z40, but he's just going to boom. Dropping the third TC here. Again, he has 3 pawns, so he's got 10 fishing ships, but actually just noticed this. I'm pretty sure this skirmisher even killed a fishing ship. Yeah, the knight and the skirm actually had killed some fishing ships there. And both players have had some problematic main golds. Z40 super lucky not to lose villagers there, but there's siege on the way for this TC. Like, I kind of get what he was thinking with the TC. He's like, all right, I'm going to have the map control long term. If I have the map control long term, this is perfect for me. But it's also a big target. Dang. This Daniel guy, again, he just hangs around. He didn't necessarily have the most amazing transitions, but he commits. And he commits super well here. I love it. Now, of that Vill lead that Red currently has, he's got about 14 or 15 idols. So you could say the economy is similar in terms of efficiency. Res Collect is actually still very close. And Cav Archers still being massed. Would love to see the Bloodlines upgrade. I don't think there's any reason you need to be out here without Bloodlines. And a big fight. The Knights are going to go in for the siege. The Monks are going to aim for 3 conversions. How do you even do that? The Knights take the siege. The Skirmishers kill what's left of the Cav Archers. And the army moves back for Eli. Now economy matters. That was such a unique fight for him. Like, he didn't have elite skirmisher, but he did have Bodkin. He had 3 monks that he had to micro and separate Cav Archers, which he did. And when you're a higher eco player, you just need moments like that to stabilize. That is going to take Eli a long time to replenish. He's going to need 2 or 3 mangonels again. And by then, since there's 3 town centers for Z40, he might be able to stabilize. And also, this town center, he's been sending villagers to stone time and time again. So if he's able to get a castle up here, we might not actually be too far away from the GG call. We will see the eco start to rise. Nice job from Eli down here. He'll add a fishing ship behind this. But it's the villager count. 74 villagers versus 54 right now. And remember, the fishing ships for Eli, they're going to get terribly inefficient. In fact, he's going to need wood for fish traps here pretty soon. Only 1 relic? That's true, but I think relics are overrated with Lithuanians. That's right, I said it. How many freaking times do people focus on getting relics to go Knights when Knights isn't the unit they need in that situation? People forget they have solid elite skirms. I don't think that you not having relics with Lithuanians is necessarily a bad thing if you have a good economy and are playing in towards counter units. Overrated's maybe a tough word. I guess the way to say it would be a lot of players feel like they're forced to go in the Knights because they, want to get those relics, or they're even forced to go for the relics. I don't think you have to have those relics to have success with this especially against the Mongols. Eli needs his shot, and Eli's not going to get the shot. Good micro from the player who now has a castle back here. And a player like Z40 is just going to have a lot of fun now. He's going to dodge all the shots, fall back to his castle where need be. Tunnel vision. Yeah. Players get very tunnel visioned over the relics and just making Knights with Lithuanians. They will go for the Knights in situations where their economy's not set up for it, or where it doesn't benefit them. Even at the highest level, I think. But anyways, it's not bad to get relics with Lithuanians. It will be too, it looks like, for Z40. And I just look at this economy. It's so expansive. And oh no, the siege goes down for Eli. That's disastrous. Oh man, he ran into the castle fire with both shots. 36 on food versus 16, and Eli's still trying to force the issue here with mangonels and Cav Archers. Big shot. Okay, big shot. Weak skirmishers in this group now. Z40's got to be careful there. And look at that. He immediately researches herbal medicine to heal up his skirmishers faster in that castle. Dang. That's pretty wild. Makes sense, though. I also like the university for ballistics. It just feels like so much of what's coming is too little too late for Eli. He's got 35 Cav Archers. He's unable to use it. And yes, he's dropping a castle. Could maybe make Mangadai in the long run. Yes, he's trying to balance his eco now, but When you're behind significantly in the economy, you need to continue to keep your foot on the gas if you can. And he's probably feeling like right now he can't find damage anywhere. His opponent has played incredibly well. Look at that. These skirmishers suddenly, tons of HP. Herbal medicine paying off. That's sick. Nilius is losing the mangoes. Well, how do I even do this? Oh, that's such a stretch, dude. Deli has put... I mean, there's Eli, there's Deli. Two separate words. I guess one's a name. Unless someone named their kid Deli, which probably happened one time, let's be honest. And then there's delay. But you know what, Nilly, I'll give you a lot of respect for the attempt. I like the economic approach here from Z40. And I like the Civ selection. I've liked the Civ selection since the very start. He's tracking this nicely. These skirms should be able to kill the Cav Archers. He's on his way to the Imperial Age. Excuse me. Now I can't speak. Knights are applying some pressure here. That's something Eli has to pay attention to. And as Eli comes in here to try and run through, there's some gates going up. And now the skirms are going to just kill, well, half of these Cav Archers. Run past them or run with them. Boom. He doesn't really continue to run there because I think he's microing here. And he's through. No. Eli. I love the commitment. This player's got a lot of promise, man. I really like the commitment to it. I like the fact that he tried something which was a little bit different. I actually think he was arguably in the better position when his push started. But it was just that one moment from Z40, which was so freaking good. I don't... Like, in that moment earlier where he used the skirms, knights, and monks, I don't know how he got 3 conversions. I get 1 conversion there. Maybe I kill the siege. More than likely, I get 1 conversion. Both the mangonels are still left on, like, 2 HP and get repaired. And then I lose all my skirms because I don't have elite skirm. That's what I feel like would happen. I probably would have waited a little bit longer, too. At least waited for elite skirm. Yeah, this is a bit of a stomp at this point. Eli is imping, but he'll be later to the Imperial Age. And I think it's going to be really tough for Eli to push this back. Z40's micros, great. Again, notices the mangonel. Easy enough for him to just back away from this and takes out the siege now. Beautiful split. And the GG's called because Eli knows there's no way he can push now. So, the attempt from Eli was there. He got himself in a pretty decent position, but now I have to do the caster thing where I say, why draft Japanese and not play Japanese? I think it's a comfort level pick, and I think comfort picks are actually, I think they are underrated from the casting perspective. I constantly talk about optimal play. It's very likely Eli said, I can't play optimally onto multiple pawns like I should with Japanese. I can't make use of Japanese. What I can make use of is lots of Cav Archers and mangonels. And so that's probably why he, picked what he did. Probably influenced it heavily. And, maybe Japanese is planned for future games. But remember, Eli fans, Eli did lose the first game in his previous series, and then he won 3 straight. A good game to start it all off with, and I'm sure for Z40, he's just like, great. My macro was smooth. His timing on upgrades were smooth. I loved how he wasn't really stubborn with the knights. He made the knights, realized it wasn't going to make a lot of sense, switched out of that, and his food and Woody Co. is just sick there. Well played. Okay, so I didn't cover it, okay, but I did watch the games, and that was when Eli beat wrong player. When Eli beat Ming in round 2. Remember, Ming was seed 1, 2,500 elo. Speaking to Mr. Yo, who's one of the greatest of all time, he was like, Ming is like so good. He's one of the most underrated players out there. And Eli beat him, okay? And in that, Eli had gone for the Khmer against the Cumans, it was. It was a very nice game. It was actually their 3rd game in a best of 3, and Eli ended up getting the job done. So, again, a comfort pick here. Again, I have to say, I do not think that he's chosen a civilization which should be even in your top 5 of choices. I think Italians, I think Malay, maybe even a civ like Byzantines, Portuguese. I'm missing one. Mongols, the civ he just tried and failed with. Did I say 5? Anyways, all those civs and all that I've seen perform much better here if you're trying to play optimally. But he probably, again, is just like, I need to play different than what this guy's expecting and what he might have faced up against in his games, and I need to play towards my strengths, and that's probably what the Khmer brings him. But the Italians are the number one civ on the map, in my opinion, and the best way to play with the Italians is Fast Castle and Adept. It sounds boring, but I think the first time we had seen it was when Draken did it. Actually, I'm not sure it was the first time we saw it. No, that'd be incorrect. But I remember a game where Draken just stomped MBL in Platinum League this past season. Ultimately, Draken's result against MBL ended up later relegating MBL. That's kind of fun to talk about. But yeah, it's just really hard to stop. Now, you can't... Some players will go for Feudal Age to contest on water, but you have a sea tower here. And the sea tower should protect your fish. So kind of the idea is, it's very cheap for you to fish with Italians. You have free protection. Both players will, right? It's cheaper for you to go up to each age. So cheaper at Feudal, cheaper to Castle. So that's great for you. And it's cheaper for you to get Dock Tech. So if you just go Fast Castle and you get the War Galley upgrade with a couple fires, you can kind of do no wrong. Now, where players tend to differ in their outlook with Italians is... Do you drop the second dock? Do you drop the third dock? Do you make any ships at all? How many fishing ships do you make? Where do you town center? Are you town centering at home? There's limited golds here. Or do you go to the other gold areas? So that's kind of the breakdown of it. But what Eli had done... shoot, I'm actually forgetting. Oh, no, I'm not forgetting. Excuse me. He went Fast Castle with the Khmer against Cumans. But that was a bit of a different game because he went forward military buildings. Because his opponent was on 2 town centers and had a longer and delayed feudal age. So that's kind of the breakdown. I don't expect anything too fancy here from Z40. You are the favorite, playing with one of the best civilizations for the map. He's just going to fish away. I like this. He's going to save this fish for later. This indicates a fast castle, right? If he was going fast feudal, he would just be taking this fish because he's going to make an additional dock later on. It should be fine. For Eli, he isn't actually fishing right now, but okay, he's fine. And he's going to find some fish that's far away as well. So again, probably fast castle attempt. Z40 is from Taiwan. That's the flag we have up at the left there. Have you thought about removing the small ponds in the north and south to make it easier to TC? You mean this? No, it's actually, I think it's the perfect amount of difficulty to be able to town center here. And honestly, I think that might just be deceiving. I think you might actually be able to build over this. I feel like I should know this. Maybe you can't. But, like, for example, I think you could TC here, so you could still get the gold. And I think you could TC here as well, and TCs are pretty big. So I'm pretty sure that's just a visual thing. I saw a game. Players love to have, like, these days more than ever, players love to have snug building position. You see players build block houses and whatnot. But I saw a game, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, let's say this gold tile was moved over here one tile, and this wood was moved over here one tile. And you could fit a TC perfectly, right? So I saw someone squeeze a TC in. So, like, their Eli's position, they squeeze the TC in here. And then the opponent sees it and just, like, castle drops it, and the TC's useless. Like, but it was so funny because you just knew that the player built it because it was like, oh, it's so satisfying. Yeah, Nilly's saying you can build it. Yeah, you have to, because we would just run into so many instances. Like, okay, this is an instance where you wouldn't be on the water. Yeah, it's a visual thing. The map is a bit unique in that way. All right, so walling for Z40. This is all expected. This is the exact builds that we had seen from Draken and others in Titans League Platinum. Should be pretty clean and easy for him. The Khmer, though, could be Castle Age faster. You don't need to make the mill for farming. You don't need to make your buildings at all. Is Eli tempted to go to the deer here? I really like to make mills on the deer. Yeah, I'm a sucker for that. I think it's really underrated. Because there's almost always some deer in the corner. Like here. I've actually seen players pushing deer. Because it's such a fast castle heavy meta. I've seen players just stay home and push deer from the side. 5 fishing ships. It's pretty wild. I feel like with 5 fishing ships, you might be tempted to make the second dock more than anything. Again, where will the second town center go? We'll see. I personally believe the second town center and even third town center should be at home for safe eco. And then you can build up with like counter units of sorts. If your opponent's making armies, so if they're making knights, you can go a couple monks and maybe pikes. If they're making archers, which is rare, you could make siege. Have better economy, and then you eventually build towards pushing aside. Scout activity is going to be really important. Both scouts are over on this side right now. They might encounter each other. But again, blacksmith market for one player, not needed for the other. Eli's on the way up, and he's building a stable right next to his town center, probably to try and hide it, but good luck hiding that, bro. So now Z40 should know that there will likely be some knights on the field. And that's just good scouting. Didn't do anything fancy. A little frustrating for Eli. He probably was hoping that he could hide that a bit more. Now, if you send just 2 villagers to the gold area, you have to be careful. Well, just 1, you definitely have to be careful. 2, you could probably get away with it, but there are crocodiles there. I played a game where I sent 3 villagers, and I was kind of distracted with something else on water. And when I looked over, all my vills were half HP, and then the starting scout from the enemy ended up picking off 2 out of 3 of them, and was incredibly annoying. It was like a 6 HP villager versus a 5 HP scout or something. and I'm trying to make sure the villager doesn't die, and like clicking the scout runs away. Oh, it's just stressful to think about. Anyways, we've got scouts from Eli, so this might actually be for a bit of a siege push. But I like the decision from Z40 after seeing that. He says, okay, I just wall now. Walls up the berries. Full walls around the TC, so knights can't run in. And he's got 2 docks. And War Galley upgrade's cheap. You already saved so many resources on going up to the next stage. And within your walls, you do have a stone too. So if you're worried about pressure, I think maybe town centering on this wood line and being able to take some vills to stone could be nice. Okay, scouts from Eli show up. It's going to be light cav into a knight. And then we have a TC here from Eli. Interesting. You see how this is kind of touching the water here? I think it's correct from Eli not to invest into water. You can't contest with the Khmer, in my opinion. I think investing into farming eco and land control is the way to go. I do really like the light cav choice. I think you can actually make arguments that knight is a waste. I think light cav could be good. And knight's just going to kill off those crocodiles at the moment. But you see what Eli's doing? Eli's double checking this gold area. He's like, okay, I'm going to take this region and have control. And then I'm going to camp this and try and deny this guy's long-term control of resources. But unfortunately for Eli, he will probably start losing his fishing ships. I feel like a second town center could make a lot of sense at home right now for Eli. At third, excuse me. And he does that. Okay, I'm liking the timings here. Not bad. I also really like how bold. I mean, it's risky, but this is incredibly bold from Z40 to move out here. I think it's because he actually had saw the light cav on his walls and decided to make a run for it. But that's a really important TC for him because he still has the stone access here and the gold access here, but this gives him another 2 tiles of gold. So that doubles the gold that he is accessible. Eli will get his first kill soon, I think. And it's just 3 TCs for both pretty soon, I think. I say 3 TCs. It's actually not. Look at Z40. He's getting close before he starts conversion. That's huge. Knights bring no value here right now, Eli. Delete that. Delete it. Delete it. Delete it. Now you're going to lose the light cav. You can switch the conversion. What are you doing? Delete him. Oh, boy. Just really comfortable with the economic approach here is Z40. Just think about it. Your opponent's walled, right? What did the knights really do? But we also have to give credit to Z40 for adding the monks in the first place. That was really good decision-making with his monk. Getting close first. That way, there's a greater chance you convert the knight. Conversion was already charged. target was switched. That's something Eli should definitely avoid in the future. Which player's position do you prefer right now? Italians all day, and the approach that Z40 is taking all day. I played tons of practice games. I watched maybe 15 practice sets giving input to other players. And I think his approach is really good. Even the amount he has on stone right now, it just all seems very nice right now. I think what Eli really needs, having seen this TC, is he needs a siege workshop here. Because he's got army over here, which could in theory deny any town centers. And he sees his opponent has town center to stone. So I would really like to see a siege push start. Because what would be nice for you is if the castle comes up defensively for Z40. If he has to place the castle here or place the castle here, any type of aggression to keep him there is going to be huge. Z40, 2 monks there on the light cav. Oh my god, his monk control is really good. There's now been 2 instances where I've been impressed with it. It was in the previous game when he converted 3 cav archers when he was right next to the cav archers. And now right there as well. I think we're going to see a castle drop attempt from Eli. He's making another light cav. But he's worried about the monks. I think he wants to castle drop this. The thing that I'll say about Eli is if he hangs around, if he makes the game somewhat even, and then he can make it messy, he's a nightmare for players to deal with. He's just not a meta player. He doesn't agree with some of the metas that I've been talking about. And the Khmer ecos looked really good. The stone count's so close for both of them. He sees the TC. I think he's going to come in with a castle, right? Those villagers are horribly inefficient. All right, here he goes. All right, villagers on the way. Now, is there a world where you think you can walk over here and castle right now? If you're a Z40? If you see the light cap go this way, you might think it's possible. Oh, and it's a castle here instead for Eli. Okay. I don't hate that, especially because your light cav are now out of position. I don't hate this at all. And I don't think this castle is bad either for Z40. So it should be a race to imp right now. Look at that farming eco for Eli. Maybe Khmer should be considered a little bit more here. He's also going to get the 3rd relic. Now, Khmer do not get bomber cannon, and Italians do. Italians also get cheaper university upgrades, so it helps them get there. So you basically, you need to win the Trebor before bomber cannons become some type of a factor. This is actually kind of nice for Eli. I think he has a rally point issue. He's got vills moving around, but the fact that he knows there's a castle there tells him idle everything. Look what he's done. He stops producing vills. Actually, he could still produce vills. He just needs more gold. And I think Z40 should be considering the same, right? Because he knows that there's a castle there as well now. We're going to see some food and wood get sold, and there goes Eli. Now, Eli has no stone income. His stone income was here. He's all in on gold right now. Still has lots of scout and night activity on this side. I think this is really good heads-up play from him. I'm a big fan of outposts. I think a couple outposts would be nice. It does look like he killed a monk there as well. The body just sunk into the grass. Doesn't Z40's monks prevent siege push? It potentially did in the past, but like light cav and siege could have been pretty decent. I think if you have 4 light cav and you have the mangonel there, around the time that I said it, this castle might have to be way back here. Ooh. So we see a barracks dropped now, and notice there's infantry armor research and then canceled. But that might just be delayed. I feel like opening condos could be really smart against Trebs. It's funny, some players love condos. Other players will never make them in a million years. I think they're an amazing unit. Italians are all about timings. It takes a long time to build up towards Genoese crossbow, but a unit that has pretty solid stats out of the barracks produces pretty quickly, that you can produce instantly upon arriving to imp. I think you should consider condos a bit more. 5 to 2 KD in this entire game. That's it. And you can tell that there, with the Genoese crossbowmen and monks, there's some confidence right now for Z40. It feels like he might feel as though he could take this area. He is dropping barracks. He's now getting the armor again. And if he's able to take out Trebs with something, and Condos is the perfect tool for that, Eli could find himself in a really bad spot. If your opponent doesn't have Condos, then maybe it's a bit different. They might have to add stables, get the Light Cav upgrade. Even then, Light Cav are less HP than a Condo. Or actually, it might be the same amount. Light Cav with Bloodlines, what is that, 80? Condo is also 80, I think. But yeah, Genoese Crossbowman. And the Monk's able to give Z40 the time to come over here, and he will control this gold area. So this now becomes a game where Eli can't deny the gold areas from his opponent fully, but if he can kill his opponent here, it could be amazing. He's dropping archer ranges right now. It's pretty much what he had done against his previous, or not his previous opponent, against Ming, when he played Ming in the second round. He went Khmer, he went Trebs, and then he went into Arbalest. Not sure. I love the Arbalest idea, but I do love the fact that he's committed to the Trebs so heavily. I love the fact that he has lots of stone right now for another castle. Do you build the next castle here? Normally, I'd say no. Normally, I'd say defensive. But you honestly might just want to just rush in and kill real quickly. I guess the problem is he doesn't really have a means to rush. Crossbow feels like it could eventually wear out against the Italians, but the castle's going to go down for Z40. 4 Trebs. Eli knows you don't trickle Treb, baby. And then he goes defensive castle here. Excellent stuff. And the Condos weren't able to get the upgrades and the mass in time to save that castle. You have to be worried about this now. You have to keep most of your army here, and it makes it very difficult for you to push if you are Z40. It's going to see this castle. Might end up killing a couple of villagers here, but the castle's going to go up. And now we're probably going to see a trebuchet from this area, from Z40. Isn't actually mining gold a lot. These villagers haven't been tasked to a mining camp. So gold could be a big concern for him right now. And it's one of those things that he might not realize until it's too late. Still, no Arbalest brings me so much pain. Get the Arbalest upgrade here, Eli. He has to micro with only 6 crossbowmen here. He's in the Imperial Age. He's going to have chemistry. He's got all the attack upgrades besides Arbalest. But you know what? Hey, he takes the TC. He might lose a couple trebuchets, but he's getting some decent kills. Castle Fire will still help. Condos have that full armor that Z40 was looking for. And the Condos now showing why I was so excited about them. I just think they're such a good unit to mix in these moments. I still feel like eventually they wear out against archers, though. So it makes it really important that he killed the Trebs, because if the Trebs were still there, all of a sudden, once there's like 40 Arbalest, you can't really engage with just Condos. And Red realizes that, which is why he's panicking this castle. But sniping those Trebs was crucial. Eli's not a big fan of auto farm. Another thing I picked up on. Okay, he actually has it toggled now. Maybe it wasn't even an auto farm thing. But, you know, his food eco is really low. So if you're thinking how maybe he transitions into something, that's going to be tricky. Galleon upgrade right now for Red. What? He wants to use the sea. Dang. But what a good game here. Now, if you get up to like 30, 40 farms with the Khmer, and your opponent starts to show Skirmisher, then it's Hussars all day, right? But we don't really have that as an option, as we're going to see a castle here. Oh, God, this is completely unprotected for Eli. This is a bold move. I guess Galleon is Red's answer to the Arbalest. He isn't really trying to go for Skirmishers yet. But again, Eli shows up with 4 Trebs. Love it. Say this all the time. If you're going to go Treb push, make sure you have the numbers. Okay, Bombard Cannon is hiding behind the racks here. Going for the Trebs. We'll get 1 Treb, but the castle's going to go down. And the Bombard Cannon could go down as well. The Arbs still continue to push forward. This castle, it might end up going up, actually, because Red is so distracted over here. And Eli only lost 1 Treb. And he's going to be able to take a Bombard Cannon. He could take another Bombard Cannon. He could take this Treb as well. Still, maybe needs to somehow find a way to maneuver away from the Galleons. That's going to be pretty awkward here. But this is sick. And it's working, guys. We got so many resources right now for Z40. But this has been so awkward for him. It's been such a convincing push from Eli. that he's finding it difficult to make the right decisions. He's scrambling up some buildings now, thinking about what unit he can go for next. And now he doesn't realize the castle's up. He's not making a Treb here. And now there's going to be Trebs from Eli. If there would have been like 5 military units on the patrol here, or Red would have maybe noticed with something, this could have been GG. Not GG, but it would have been really bad for Eli to lose everything. But instead, it could maybe win him this game. And the Eli dream, the underdog dream could live on here. Arbalest, honestly, just take out the palisade wall, and once the TC's down, run right in. You don't want to run right through one tile gap. You got to be a little careful about that with bombard cannons, but Eli's lack of hesitation has been big for him with the ARBs. And as he's getting his cav upgrade, so he's thinking about units he could possibly raid with. Again, he's still got this position. But has Red not noticed? I don't think Red noticed. He's so distracted. Also, Eli isn't exactly trebbing that castle. But they're simply looking here, and more bombard cannons will go down. Z40 is losing all of his farmers and lumberjacks, it seems like. He's now going to have less on food than Eli does. And if it's straight bombard cannon, you are so incredibly vulnerable to the incoming Hussar switch. Dang. It's still funny how they've had a little bit of a peace agreement here with their Trebs. There we go. Eli noticing now. But his micro has been insane. Look at the ARB movement. I also love how he stopped making ARBs on this side. Big shots here from Red. Eli stopped making ARBs on this side and shifted them over to the other side, like right away. Because he knows, okay, I've done enough. Producing a few more now after some losses. Now I'm going to need army here in case he shows up with something to engage against my Trebs. That something's going to be Lycav. The stables are now up for Red, but you know, he doesn't exactly have the upgrades. There's still enough Arbalest to kill villagers. Eli takes a pretty considerable eco lead. Eli's going to have a lot more gold. Bit of a relic heist attempt. Gotta love it. That's not going to happen, but the GG's called. The GG's called because in a moment, Red will not have access to gold. And again, Eli wins on Shoals, and he wins with the Khmer. So interesting, right? Like, to me, it again feels like a comfort pick because essentially his strategy is just boom, get the position on the side, and win the Treb war. But, you know, typically you're like, well, this civ doesn't have bombard cannons, or there are Arbalest, don't get thumb ring. You're thinking about civilizations that maybe have a little bit more for the strat, but I think it's just so much easier for him to go fast castle. It's so much easier for him to get the timings right because you don't need to worry about the buildings, and you don't need to sweat the small stuff. You don't need to sweat the tiny little details. And he just committed to it, and it was really good play from him in the end to take the risk and try and shift over here to build this castle. And I don't think a lot of players do this, but he did. And once this castle went up, things became more and more awkward for Red. Good stuff for Eli. Someone saying it's preemptive GG? I don't think so. Because he will lose his Treb here. These Arbalest will kill all these villagers. He's got no gold. Will he clean this? Yeah, maybe. Maybe he gets a couple Trebs. No gold income is going to be a big problem. He's got 1 TC, so a reboom isn't really possible. I don't think that's preemptive GG at all. I think Eli had truly dominated the guy. Red's collected's crazy. I think Red had an awful time spending his food. Here's what I think. I think that Red was expecting Eli to have crazy food economy, and in the back of his mind, he was just thinking, I can never make skirms. But I think he could consider skirms. He went condos. He had a couple of Genoese crossbows, but he never made skirms. So his food economy here, amazing. Food economy here, amazing. I think skirmishers with condos could have done something here. Does that turn into a situation where eventually we do see Hussars from Eli? Yeah. But Eli didn't actually, he wasn't set up for it. And he only fell into a position where he's able to really switch to Hussars. I mean, not even, but he was getting to that point at this stage of the game. It's 2 straight games where Eli just commits heavily onto wood and gold units, by the way. He tried it with Cav Archers and Mangonels in game 1. He now went for it here with Arbs and Trebs. He just pushes. So it's going to be painful for Red to see he collected more resources, but gold was going to be a real concern. And the story of Eli, who we found playing community games back in 2017, 2018. There's videos with him. It lives on, folks. It lives on. Here we are, game number 3. It is Ethiopians for Eli. His final pick. Again, draft left some things to be desired for me, but there were a lot of bans on closed sifs now that I think about it. Ethiopians aren't horrible with a good boom. And then in the red, we've got Britons. And it's a tricky matchup here for Ethiopians. Ethiopians are known for very strong archers. Britons are known for having insane range on their archers. I think that range makes all the difference here. I also think having cheaper town centers makes a big difference with the economy. The last time I saw this matchup was Tato versus Viper in Masters of Arena. And Viper was able to use bombard cannons and skirms and a really sick boom and a faster imp to have a ridiculous push against Tato. And if there's any type of significant damage from a push for either of them, they both could really have a tough time here. These main golds, very far forward and very close to the secondary golds outside their walls. So I think Britons are superior, but I also felt as though Italians were superior in the previous game. So it's about commitment. I think it's the big thing here. I don't know what you commit towards with Ethiopians beyond initially a really good boom. Maybe you just skip relics. I actually think skipping relics altogether might make sense. Hope the opponent goes scouts or something and delays their economy by adding stuff for map control. Players are always building their monastery on the front. Just go straight boom and then push. But again, the problem is I also think Britain should straight boom. I don't think relics make a difference in this matchup. I think it's all about who gets the momentum of ranged units and trebs and cannons in the case of Ethiopians. So, yeah, we'll see. Warwolf is a big upgrade for the trebs, indeed. But Torsen engines can be a really big upgrade for the siege of the Ethiopians. Okay, so we have a closed map. If you guys had questions about TTL, this would be a good time for it, because I'm kind of run out of things to say at this point. It is 1800 HP with stone walls as well, so no feudal age aggression is really possible here. Relics do favor Eli. Not wrong there. 3 relics closer to Eli's walls. 2 relics closer than 2 Z40's walls. So maybe that's the Age of Empires gods trying to even out the Civ matchup. How do Britons stop the Shotel Siege Tower rush? Well, they have a significant economy lead by the time that happens. They garrison in their TCs and Shotels die. That's... You just garrison and build a couple house walls. Who got the better on cross last season, Japanese or Lith? We actually have a site. We don't have it active with any silver data yet, but I'm pretty sure our site should still be, our Statafrax site should still be up from the previous seasons. Maybe someone could link that. I would say Lithuanians probably had the better win rate because Lithuanians were stronger back then with the 150 food start. Are there any Americans in Gold League? I mean, Eli, I think, is our only hope because Daniel got promoted, right? Oh, look, guys. These 3 houses, they're all facing the same direction. Oh, come on, 4th house. Don't ruin my immersion. Don't ruin it. They're also facing, like, the best way. No! All right, Eli's going to lose. That's a really big deal. If your houses don't look pretty, it'd be really problematic for you. Is your boredom of Arena so progressive? So progressive? Is it progressive of me to be bored of Arena? Okay. I didn't say I was bored of Arena. I just said there's nothing for me to talk about right now. I don't want to make any of the clowns upset. Okay, let's finish the message. Is your boredom of Arena so progressive that you're willing to field Hidden Cup questions? What's the question? If the question is, will there be another Hidden Cup? The answer is yes. If you want more details, the answer is it's all hidden. That's probably very boring, but there will be another Hidden Cup, yes. I cannot tell you anything more at this time. Yeah, give up the relics. Forget it, man. Don't get the relics here. This is a straight up boom, early in push type of a game. That's what I think. But I've always been a big advocate for not getting the relics in certain Civ matchups. I think this is one of them. Where are Britons in the current meta overall, in your opinion? Seems like I don't see them played that often. As far as I know, they haven't been nerfed. Is it just that there are many other Civs that have eclipsed them now? Okay, so on Arena, they're top tier. On Arena, I think they're top 5. On other maps, I think that they're a solid pick, but it's very much a comfort pick, if anything. And there's a lot of Civs that have more impressive bonuses than them. Interesting build here from Eli. What on earth is happening here? Stragor Tree Central. He's going to gold with a Civ that'll get plus 100 food and plus 100 gold when they get to the next stage. Really delayed his farms. Oh, worker efficiency. I guess this could still work. I mean, he might use the market to use that gold for something. I'm sure he'll still be all right. This looks a little bit weird. That's all. But yeah, so I personally feel like with Britons, I always gain the eco lead, but I don't win with map control. And it's super weird because you think 8-range crossbows should be able to do enough. But I've noticed the same trend. Like, I remember Titans League games where Leary was losing with Britons. People aren't picking Britons as much. I think it's because you need a lot of good army control these days. Not having Thumb Ring can kind of slow you down. I think not having Thumb Ring... They shouldn't get Thumb Ring, right? Maybe players are too greedy with Britons, right? Okay, stable now for Eli. So he will contest for the relics, and then we have the blacksmith. Meanwhile, we just have blacksmith market from red, and I love it. Sure, go ahead, take the relics, Eli. Take the relics, get 5 relics. I'm sure it'll be fantastic for you. Meanwhile, we're just going to have 3 TCs booming here. Maybe even 4 TCs. T90 have a safe flight to Australia. Any plans to meet any high-level Aussie players while here? Am I allowed to make the joke and say what high-level Australian players? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Shout out to Soxy. Soxy's a real solid player. I've known that guy for years. Robo's not too bad for an admin, right? Who else we've got over there? Actually, that guy's a Kiwi. No, that doesn't count. You got some good team game players over there. Zane and crap. I think Christ is like a DM player. Not Jesus Christ, but Christ. Razor is great. Hey, you got some solid players. I'm not traveling to Australia to meet Age of Empires pros. I'm currently 50-50 on if there will be a dedicated meetup. It will be very costly, but also it would be very epic. And I am teetering back and forth and if I should incur the cost to make the epic thing happen. Also, I'm a little concerned because I'm looking at a 5-hour time slot. And there's some, it's a cool like gamer pub, right? So there's like some like arcade style stuff to do. And there's, you know, it's a bar, right? So you can drink and whatnot. But like, I feel like I should offer more than just show up and talk to me, meet me, take a photo with me. Everyone's telling me, no, just like, people just want to meet you. You're fine. But I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on it right now. So maybe. And if I were to do a meetup, it would be in Sydney for those that are from Australia. And I would edit it into, if we're officially doing it, I'll post on my Discord. And I will have it edited into the end of a bunch of YouTube videos so you guys can catch it. So anyways, yeah. So here's the downside of... Or not the downside. Here's the scoop on how this game is playing out. So we did actually have a stable edition as well from Red. A bit interesting. You rarely see Blacksmith, Market, Stable, and also the Barracks. And Eli's going for very aggressive play here. He's going for Siege, and he's also going for Light Cav with some Pikes. I don't hate his approach here because I think he realizes the Civ matchup is really, really bad for him. So he's trying to go as all in as possible to kill his opponent. Have you seen sharks yet? Yes. I've done 2 ocean dives, and I've seen a shark each time. I'm officially scuba certified as of yesterday. which I'm really pumped about because it took a lot of classes and a lot of training. And it was not easy. There's a lot of things to learn. And, but yeah, anyways, I'm officially certified as of yesterday, which is really cool. And we did see another shark yesterday. Also saw a massive freaking eel. This guy, like, I couldn't see because he was kind of sticking his head out of a giant hole in the rocks, but he might have been like a 5 or 6 foot long eel. He's thicker than a basketball. He had a massive head. I could show you guys in a second if you're curious. This is really good aggression from Eli right here. This is working. And remember I said that, you know, if there's any aggression with this type of map, it could be problematic. I don't know if you're going to be able to take this gold so easily if you're red right now. And he kind of panic switches back to this gold, but he didn't think about it ahead of time. He didn't recognize this push was going to be an issue ahead of time. So the big problem I'm seeing is he can't actually make a Mangonel right now. If he does make a Mangonel, Eli's already going to be through. And the Siege Workshop could go down. Eli! He's also going to play into a castle drop here, too. This is insane. Still tracking this, by the way. Villager gonna go doink. Gonna go doink. Gonna go down. Okay. Oh, that was such crucial timing for him, though. If he would have been able to apply pressure on the Siege Workshop, he might have actually been able to take it out. Okay, so I remember I said that relics are really important, right? Eli's going for the relics. I did say I don't really like it in this matchup, but I like the approach from Eli because it centers around aggression. It centers around making this an awkward game because the Britons, if it's a boom game, will dominate. We've got Vils coming forward for Eli. They've got baskets and they've got hoes and they've got various farming tools in hand. And they are going to aim to drop a castle on the front here. I'm hoping we have no big mistakes here, like accidentally mangonelling your own castle. Losing your castle to the enemy siege. I'm concerned. And you build this in his walls, bro. He's putting on his big boy pants here. Holy crap. He needs 9 more stone. Okay, he'll have it. Eli, there you go. You've got the stone. Place it here. Okay, well, that's a safe castle. That is the most anti-Eli castle I've ever seen in my life. But he's got 4 relics. He could get the 5th. It does still deny both of these golds. A really interesting series thus far. And now he's going to try 1 TC fast imp. Look at him buy food. He's buying a lot of food. Oh, God! Oh, man. This is full market here from Eli. I mean, if he wins the imp race, even if he's behind by a bunch of Vils, he could win the Trebor. Okay, Z40. I think he's done well. He tried to contest with scouts. He recognized there was tons of commitment from his opponent. He's fallen back to the now his only gold. He's been on stone for a castle. His Siege Workshop could go down here, and it could be increasingly annoying for him to deal with the pressure from Eli. I love Eli's micro right now. He's being a real pain. He's being very patient, killing the Vil there. Really hard to add farms and do things that will give you a good imp time right now if you're red. And Eli hasn't been making Vils. Eli's going to click up to imp. This could work, guys. This could absolutely work. Are you kidding me? 2K player. Been an underdog in the last 2 sets. He's made it to the decider. Did he see that castle? No, he didn't. But if he sees it, it's going to be like getting what you want on Christmas morning when you're a kid. You're like, what? Age of Empires? Nice. I didn't get Age of Empires for Christmas when I was a kid, but I imagine that would have been pretty cool. Oh boy. Oh, geez. Okay, guys, if you're going all in, this should never happen. You got to learn. You really got to build up with outposts. Eli will never expect that because there's no sign that villagers escaped there. That is a crucial and potentially game-changing thing here for red. If that gets spotted right now, he loses the TC. But the fact that he's been able to sneak over here is so nice. Mangonel micro. And Eli just going to sit back, focus on the barracks. Does he have a university going up? He does. So that's going to be for chemistry. And then he's just going to do what he's done every game. lots on wood, lots on gold, and aim to go for wood and gold units. Which, it's just trebs, and it's just bomber cannons. Oh, man. Good Mangonel micro still. He's down by 42 villagers. Yeah, also, Ethiopians do not spend stone on their outposts. This is such a big deal. Oh, man. Dude, he's got dirty micro. Then again, he's not macroing or producing villagers at all. Red is doing all of this. And Red's going to click imp here, guys. But he's going to be 3 minutes behind. All of this is going to be such a good game. Now, here's the long-term problem I foresee for Eli. He has to stick to his castles. So, oh man, I want him to place it further forward. I want it here. I wanted this castle here. I wanted the next castle like here. But he could still, if he could sit under here with all of his force, which is just going to be siege, basically, he could kill a lot of stuff from red. What's the MTC for red? That's the MTC. Okay, that's important. Yeah, bombard cannons can kill Treb, exactly. And bombard cannons can kill crossbow, which is what Red's trying to do. If Red didn't have this gold, he'd be screwed, but that gold is so helpful for him right now. Eli will never look there. I'd be shocked if he looks at this point. And you might think, well, T90, he has to. But again, Z40 did a really good job sneaking out and re-walling it in a way where none of it looked like enemy would have left the premises. Your eco's horrible if you're Eli. It's so bad. Like, you can't even afford consistent Treb or bomber cannon production here. I mean, those are expensive things to be able to afford. Castle will go down for red. He's making crossbows. Remember, Britain crossbows have enough range where they could compete against bombard cannons. Come on, Eli. Notice this stuff, dude. Notice this stuff. This is killing me. Oh, it's killing me. 4 trebs. That's the magic number he used in the previous game, and now he's got bombard cannons coming out of 1 siege workshop. Resources collected. That's a pretty big difference there. But how do you push these castles if you are red? I don't know. Like, this would be, even though he's escaped, this would be a very nice victory. This reminds me of the game that Doubt played against Dark or Valis or somebody, where we just saw the Britain player lose the entire front of their base, lose access to their gold, but they were able to sneak out for some resources, and they have an army that can contest the siege. Big Mangonel shot. That's actually quite nice. And, well, now you're dealing with what will soon be 10-range archers. And you have 1 bomber cannon. Z40 can win this game. I actually think Z40 is in the better position. Despite all this pressure. Because now you can't move out past your castles. We actually see Eli going for... oh, here we go. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful! Eli going for ballistics. Also went for Bodkin for his castles. Red has 2 TCs. He's got this fiery TC here, and he's got this TC here. But Red is able to take stone, and Red is able to take gold. Which he should not be able to take at this stage. But due to no outposting, Red was able to escape. Treb goes down. How do you stop this from happening? Well, you need more bomber cannons. And he's using his trebs against the crossbows, which is going to take so long. You can't shift into anything else. Eli's stonewalling, but he doesn't know his opponent escaped. No! There's no terrain change for him either, by the way. That's a casting thing. Ah! That's so sad. He's like, we got him penned in. No! He's right now, he's thinking, okay, this is kind of rough, but my opponent's going to run out of gold. And then I win. That's what he's thinking. Wait, he saw that Vil. I think Red told his idle villagers to do something in his base, and she's essentially snitching. If you saw that Vil, you might need to look to see if something's up here. Crossbow mass is still insane. The bombard cannons, though, getting decent kills. And Red knows he's going to be spotted, so he's dropping a castle here. Oof. Or he could be spotted. Eli's trying to catch up in the economy now. Good time for wheelbarrow, I suppose. Oh, man. Oh, I mean, it's such a nice decision to add the stone walls now. You don't see trebs from your opponent. I would love... You know what Red needs to do? He needs to go for a couple rams, and he needs to light cav raid Eli's base. Then Eli's toast. Eli's going to continue to push. Now, these are ARBs now. The bomber cannons are going to die a lot faster. But Eli's micro has been pretty solid. Look at the KD. 41 to 8 KD. This is awesome. Oh, the castle going up notifies Eli that there's something happening here. Ooh. And Red's going to know, like, he sees the stuff moving, but he would have to run past the castle in order to escape, right? Ooh. I mean, without these walls, Red could just loop right around and defend from all this. Okay, that castle's going to go down. So, still no real way to make siege if you're Red to push back the castles. Right now, the ARBs are just taking out the stone wall. And fortified wall is coming in. Oh my goodness. Not a tech you see every day. All right. Down goes the castle. Now Eli's probably like, oh no, he has a big economy here. Fortified wall tech is quite nice though, right? Red got distracted there too. So, okay, Red's still kind of trapped. But this is a lot of eco out here. You've got to kill this, man. This is like the little hornets net. You sprayed for hornets on the weekend, and then on Friday you see there's one little area outside your house where there's still a nest, you know? I don't know how many of you guys can relate to that, but bees suck. So, oh man, Red's making another castle here. For some reason, my backup battery just switched on. I think we're good. Maybe I had like a slight power flick, but it should be keeping things on for me here. And we've got the villagers. They're rushing the bees. They're rushing down the trebs. It didn't say that this was possible in the directions. What is this? Oh, man. Lightcap could be so annoying right now. Oh, no. Oh, he killed the vills and somehow not his own trebs. Okay, that's decent. The problem is he doesn't really have an army. He's starting to make crossbowmen now, though. He's also done a great job keeping his siege alive. And Eli sees this castle. No, he doesn't see the castle. But if he sees the castle, he can kill the castle. Ah! Okay. Crossbowmen just get completely wrecked by Britain crossbowmen. It's not close. Oh, Eli. He's so torn, guys. He's so torn on where he goes now. He can't focus on the main push. And Red, you should save your trebs, I think. I think you should wait. And then again, he's starting to lose ground here. He's got no gold income except for these villagers who are just trying to take whatever gold they can find. Arbalest is on the way for Eli. But now Eli's starting to lose his castle here. So he's going to add more walls to complete the walls around his opponent's base. And, you know, the bomber cannons are here, so they can't help with the trebuchets. Expensive to lose these things right now if you're Eli, but he's done a pretty good job. He's saving them. My power definitely flicked. Are we good? I think I'm still here. Backup battery for the win. Okay, but Arbalest are underneath Castle Fire, taking out the trebs. Having said that, though, the micro from Eli is fantastic. Okay, still flicking. This is really freaking weird. My lights are going on and off. It must be the damn bees, too. I don't know. But guys, this is an amazing game. We have the underdog story of Titans League Silver, a 2K player making it to a decider. He's been underdog 3 straight sets if you include this one. And it looks like the villagers that have escaped from Eli, or not from Eli, rather, from Red, are getting killed off by the ARBs. At the very least, they're not able to take gold right now. Oh my goodness. Another cannon exposed, and it's going to go down, though. That's a problem, because there's now 2 trebuchets from Red. Again, his economy lead is insane right now. He's had collected 16,000 more resources. And Eli really needs to take these trebs. Now, Red knows exactly what the game plan is. There's no question in his mind. He knows he can win this game if his opponent loses this castle. So he's waiting for the bomber cannon to show up, and he's going to do a little whoop. He's going to pop out of the castle here in a second. You ready? Right now. This is a really good player. Whoop! Nope. Okay. Shout out to Chris Berman for the whoop. I don't even think this fits the situation. Whoop! Come on. Oh, God. Trebs! Oh! Castle goes down, though, for Eli, meaning he doesn't have protection for his siege. He probably needs to back away. There's the whoop or whatever it is. He's still got a castle to hold the front lines. He's still keeping red off of gold, but red has light cav, and he has the eco to make more and more light cav right now. I think you need to sell that wood. Sell that wood to, at the very least, get the final armor for your cav. Dang. Great job from Eli to get his economy back up and running. I mean, he's still only at 65 vills, but it's crazy. He didn't complete the walls, guys. Oh, no. Bombard cannon. Oh, no. No, it's falling apart for Eli. No. He's got such a crazy score lead. The KD's been 5-1, but economy is so crucial here. Relics have probably brought in so much gold for him. Let's look at that. 4k gold from the relics. But still so many villagers from red. He's expanded. He's run out of space, but he's okay now. Getting ballistics for his arbs to make them even stronger. The armor upgrade I wanted to see. And the castle's down for Eli. And I think he's slowly losing control over this game. They have similar arbalest number. Ethiopian arbs fire faster, but they still don't have the range. And I think range is more important here. I also think having a buffer, a meat shield of light cav can be hugely important here. Eli's losing his bombard cannons, which he really needed to push and to take out the trebs. He wasn't able to. Still 40 army for both, still incredibly close, and we've got more skirms and more arbs on the way for Eli. And as he loses the bombard cannons, he has an opportunity to take a treb, which is so bad for red, because red still can't mine gold. So you're just hoping here that you can make enough skirms and arbs to fight this. Red's going to make his own skirms, which makes a lot of sense, right? Because you are out of gold. So I think falling back's probably good. And then you get skirms with your light cav. Hope for the best here. So much gold income for Eli. But he doesn't have a large cannon mass. And we see there's still a couple of villagers over here that are just going to sneak over to take 25 stone. Worth it. That's kind of funny. I think Eli believes he's killed all those vills. That or at the very least, he can't focus on it right now because he's probably feeling like he's losing grips over this game right now. Now, because the final armor upgrade isn't in on the skirms, the Ethiopian Arbalest will actually hold their own quite nicely here. Another Bombard Cannon spotted. This time, Bombard Cannon won't go down to the light cab, but it will go down to the arbs. 50 army for Z40. He still has 30 more villagers. He's got the Trebs going for the Siege Workshop. And again, a mix of skirms and arbalest. He's got the superior arbalest because range is king. And Eli is falling apart here. Despite still having a big score lead, I think he's dead, guys. I think the dream might be dead. This is looking so rough for him. Because there's all this gold. Red's like, I was just saving it for later, baby. Let's go. Leftover gold, leftover main gold is like leftover pepperoni pizza. You know, it's like the perfect meal. I actually don't know what the perfect leftover meal would be for a Briton. Maybe leftover fish and chips sounds god-awful. I feel like you have to have that fresh. But anyways, what a game here. This was such a good strategy from Eli in a matchup that I think was going to be always going to be awkward for him. He almost made it work. And then, I mean, what incredible skill from Z40 to be able to hold against it with very little gold. But there's the relics. The red's going to try and snatch those up. And red's got the skirms. Red's got the light cav. What unit do you make right now? I think the unit would have to be more arbalest and then a bunch of cannons from Eli. All of which he was, you know, he had at one point. But red was able to have such an expansive economy. 55 on food right now. The skirm production and the light cap production will never stop, and you might only need that. Arbalasts are fantastic, of course. And look at Red's micro, too. He was microing down the arbs behind. But it all falls apart here for Eli. The Trebs are on the castle now. If that castle goes down, the stone that's here, the gold that's here, everything is lost. This has been the best game from TTL Deciders, though. This was epic. Say what you want about Arena, man. But, you know, like, 9 out of every 10 games might just be a boom game where you don't see a lot of all-inning versus economy. But this game here, it was the perfect Arena game. Lots of aggression versus the defense. We had some tactical moves that could have gone slightly differently for both, possibly. And then the performance was so consistent, so good from all of them. Like, if I were Eli trying this, I would have died so long ago. He kept his bomber cannons and his Trebs alive for so long. Against so much. But now you find yourself without the relics. Your opponent's got gold again. And if your opponent is Britons at this stage, they're probably going to beat you. Dang, what a game. Imagine seeing the mini-map now and not really knowing what happens. Dang, that was so sick. I think I would not have been able to push like Eli. I would not have been able to defend like Red. And I think there's a lot of people that might agree with that statement. That was so good. So, correct for Eli to play on here, obviously. You got to try. It looks rough, but it's an important tournament moment for you. So, you're probably dead, but the score is pretty close. Maybe there's something that can change the scenario for you. He's going to try and mass a couple more cannons somewhere. Back here. But Red just allowed to breathe now. Drops a castle here to be able to mine stone and gold. All 5 relics are within that monastery. A castle in the back of Eli's base. I wonder if maybe he's going to consider Torsen engines. It never felt like it was realistic for him to afford before. But dang. That one outpost could have changed this game. Ethiopian outposts, they do not cost stone. That's a recent change. But they have tons of extra vision. If you would have noticed this area, I think that Red... I mean, it's hard to say, right? Because I still think Red had enough arbs and whatever else, but I think Red wouldn't have had as easy a time at winning the game. And maybe he wouldn't have had enough trebuchets to ever push back. Sad times for Eli, right? Because that's a basic move. And it's so easy when we're sitting back writing our comments in the YouTube section. It's just so easy to be like, why don't pros make the outpost? When he's done so many other things. 99% of this game was like flawlessly executed from him. He did call GG, by the way, but we have a chat filter in our game that you cannot remove, and the chat filter consistently removes normal sayings. Now, you might be like, T90, maybe he accidentally said another combination of letters. You don't know. Well, I called GG this morning, and it muted it when I played a game. And yesterday, I casted a game, it also muted it. So apparently, you can't wish GG to your opponent. Thanks to E, but not a big deal. Not what we need to focus on. We need to focus on the 30K resources collected from Red. The food and wood economy was ridiculous. And the KD was consistently strong for Eli. I hope that doesn't deflate him too much because, you know, losing that type of a game could feel really bad. Especially, usually you don't rewatch games before you play the next tournament match, but I guess he wouldn't need to rewatch to realize that Red somehow got there and he should have done a better job. Dang. I will say this for those that watch the main YouTube channel. I upload the best individual games to YouTube. Always do. And upload every single day. Okay. In the event you want to watch this full series, I highly suggest it. It's over on my extras channel, or you can just click the thing on your screen, you know, to watch that series. Highly suggest watching it from the start. It was pretty good. You could sub to the extras or just click the link in the description, whatever, to watch the rest of the games from this one if this really piqued your interest. Z40, though, the favorite in this series, does win. And what a memorable game, man. The best arena game of TTL Silver, definitely. All right, so I don't want to get people's hopes up here, but the Legend of You Pudding, I made a video on him 2 weeks ago, and is pretty epic. The Legend of You Pudding is a guy who's around 2K, 2K1. Okay, could have signed up for this event if he wanted to and done pretty well. He's a player who plays Sicilians, and he's got a strat designed around it, okay? He's Taiwanese, and when I reached out to someone from Taiwan to gain a little bit more information about you pudding, I was told, as I think I mentioned in the video, that the many Taiwanese players were trying to develop the best Sicilian strategy for open land maps. And you pudding ended up, being the guy who came up with that. But is there a chance? Like, you had Franks available. You chose not to go Franks. Pretty good civilization on a scout rush map, which is what this is. Is there a chance that he tries to go for sergeants here? I mean, maybe a new meta thing here. You're up 2-1. I also think the more realistic thing, the more realistic reason that we're probably seeing the Sicilians is due to the fact that they resist bonus damage. So, resisting bonus damage can be really nice if you're making knights against camel civs. Now, I won't tell you who told me this quote, and this quote would have been from another player, okay? But someone told me they spoke to another player. These are players who are playing in Silver League. And someone said, Sicilians is busted on that map because everyone goes for camel civilizations. And I was just like, really? Are they really busted? Like, I haven't really seen it yet. But yeah, so another player has the thought process that Sicilians are really good on this map because everyone goes for camel civ. Because usually it's full wall into fighting for map control with knights, and then people started to go for camels. This is a weird Kilimanjaro generation because normally there's stone and gold on the hill. This is like, I guess it's still town centerable, but it's awkward. And then the stone to the left side. I kind of like it. Like this is going to be fun, but it's going to be tougher for the players to adapt to what they're seeing here. New Trisis does negating bonus damage also apply to elevation? I don't think it does, but I honestly didn't think of that till now. I think the way it's worded, it could technically be, but yeah, I don't know. Anyways, pretty big wood lines as far as Kilimanjaro is concerned here for red. So if he's looking to get the walls down, things should work out quite nicely. This is more what I considered standard for Eli. He just has fewer trees, but he could easily wall this up, have stone and gold behind. And the trees do have 150 wood per tree for both, so definitely feels like there's an extra little clump of trees here for red. But this gold being forward could be problematic for him. Both players making their mill on the 2 shorefish, which is definitely a feature of this map. You also do have the berries, but many players have learned to skip the berries because villagers on shorefish brings in the food faster. We'll probably still see the berries later on. And this has been a fun series, man. I'm going to be casting 2 more today for those that are looking to stick around or people who are looking for videos. I guess for people who might be watching in YouTube form later, this is one of 10 additional sets. Well, it's one of 11 total sets for the deciders. By now, though, you would have also are already seen Cyclops versus Gibbetong be up on the Extras channel, so. All right, walling is expected, and that's expected from both players. Eli up a little bit faster here. He hasn't really even scouted his opponent yet. He just wants to get as much food underneath his TC as possible. And this is pretty common on this map. So Eli was Berbers versus Magyars when he beat Pella in Game 4 to win that series 3-1. And he had gone for scouts, into walls, into knights. That game was a lot more complex than that. The opponent also went scouts into walls, but then freaked out, realizing Berbers could dominate with cheaper stable units. So went forward, went for towers and scouts. It was actually very fun, but... Oh, we're going to see... Are we going to see a dungeon? I actually forgot what I had said earlier. Or is he going to go for a barracks? I think he might dungeon here, guys. I think he dungeons his gold. Remember, the dungeon can make spearmen. And then it can be used as a prerequisite for a stable in an archery range. this might be one of the instances where the context that I bring to you guys in Dark Age was spot on. Remember, the Taiwanese players working with Sicilians. Donjon, right? You need spears, right? Donjon. Dang. A weird spot to Donjon, honestly. Is he going to make sergeants too? I think you have to full wall, though. Scouts can still run right by. I feel like it's very foolish not to do so. It can make spears since when? Since like 2 patches ago? If you know me, Deadly Cookie, I was so disappointed in the balance of the Sicilians when they introduced the Civ. Because no one was going for the donjon, but they tried to tweak it a little bit, right? And they made it so now the donjon can be used as a prerequisite for a stable and an archer range, and it can also make spears. So he's going archers, spearmen, and he's got the donjon to protect the front of his base. I don't like this positioning. I think you should position it on your gold. But this is certainly different. And Eli is confused right now. He was pushing deer. He's trying to find his opponent. And he is... I guess that honestly, both players are probably confused. It looks like Red also was trying to find Eli for quite a long period of time. Yeah, Eli's making quite a few spearmen because he's expecting a scout rush here, and it is not a scout rush. He still didn't find him. But, I mean, he has to use process of elimination now and know his opponent's over here. Okay, so Eli's walling up, probably feeling a bit uneasy about the situation now. And he's going to see walls. Will he see the golds being mined? He will. Okay, so that will tell him archers, but he doesn't see it yet. And Red has realized I'm actually walled now, so I don't need to keep my military at home, and we're going to go forward. Oh, man, there's nothing more annoying when you've gone scouts. And then there's just like a couple archers with some spearmen. You almost always need skirmishers. Eli getting some hits in there. He saw the archer range and he sees the flag. So in his mind, as he actually patrolled this scout, and now surely he realizes now. But he might have been a little bit confused. We do have a sergeant. Oh, this is the you pudding influence. He's hiding the sergeant too. I don't think it's going to be full-on you pudding strat, though. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just watch the video. I also have to find time to record the next one before I head off to Australia, because he played some games that are even more epic with his strat. Donjons are pretty tanky when it comes to armor, so if your opponent's going skirms or whatever, it could be nice. In the end, Eli just abandons his berries. We have another sergeant on the way, folks. We have another sergeant on the way. Did you explain why Sicilians are good against camels? They resist bonus damage. Camels are a unit that have 6 base attack. 6 attack. It's not very good if you don't have bonus damage on top of it. But the fact that they take less damage from, or less bonus damage from camels is why you could argue Sicilians are a solid pick here. Because you can still make knights against a civilization that has camels. Guys, we have sergeants in competitive play. 1 win away from going into the top 48 in the world. And my man's making sergeants here. It's like a beefier, tankier man-at-arms, this unit. And you can make more donjons with it. That's the thing. That was what was so cool. And that's why when Sicilians came out and the devs were like, hey, here's a knight bonus for you. I was like, what? Come on. Like, this is so unique. The donjon, the sergeants. Come on, let's do it. And we're, you know, the dream is alive. That this could become some type of meta. I still think it's a little wacky. But people don't know what to do against this stuff, man. That's a lot of army. And Eli's got to be like, what? I think there's definitely a part of him, like anybody who faces this right now, who's just like, are you trolling me? Is this good? I don't think this is good. Look at their little shields go up and down when they build. It's so cool. Now, downside, obviously, you're spending... you've spent food and gold on the fletching upgrade for your archers. You are also spending food and gold on the sergeants. So your castle age time is delayed. Farming eco is pretty expansive, though. You do get more food on your farms after the farming upgrades with Sicilians. So Red's food eco is going to be great in the long run. Red could run underneath this TC. Eli needs to make sure that he doesn't just wall partially here. And I think Eli understood how dangerous that could have been for him if the units somehow were to run through. Red's still making archers. He's just attacking the front of Eli's base. Eli can go for knights. Where you pudding has shown that sergeants are the best guys is that early castle age window. Because their stats go up in castle, right? So that's the time you need to keep your sergeants alive till. That's the time you need to keep your donjons alive till. The difference between knights and between sergeants, and this is the same with a lot of units, but the knights you can't create till you're in castle. But the sergeants you can create while you're on the way to castle. So he's going to click up to castle in a moment here. Has his buildings, right? Yep, there he goes. Now I expect more sergeants. I could be wrong, but I think it would feel natural to make... Oh, he's making spears too. Yo! Spears and sergeants. He wants to go pike, sergeant. But I don't think you want to be anywhere near these stables. No, that is scary. Whoever's in charge of sending these knights out are going to see you through the window here. He's chilling in there. He's reading a book and you just disturbed his nap. Don't be doing this. All right, there go the knights. Eli maybe looking to pressure the gold. Very hard to damage his opponent right now. That is a lot of spears and a lot of sergeants. I take it back. Wow, the production's insane. And he's going to make another donjon here. And in 70 seconds, he gets even more armor on the sergeants. Not to mention he can get the pikeman upgrade. So I think Eli needs to try and engage against this soon. I think he's going to force it now. I think... okay. There he goes. There he goes. This could work for Eli. He's against a lot of spears, sure, but it only gets worse when it's pikemen. Knights are cheap for him. Can he get the timings right? That's actually really good for Eli. Oh, man. And if Red would have just kept his numbers alive... If he wouldn't have left himself exposed there, I think in, 60 seconds, suddenly his army's unkillable. Now, Eli's got a big, massive knights. Still, this is going to be an issue for him. The villager there, for whatever reason, wants to go on that farm. And well played from both players thus far. This has been an amazing series. Pikeman upgrade on the way for Red, and he will drop town centers at home. Eli wants in desperately right now. But Red sees it. And Red sees this as well. So now the sergeant is 75 HP and has 8 attack, which is way more than what he had previously. And there's pikes, so I don't think you can easily engage against that. I feel what would have been natural for Eli before the TC is actually a siege workshop here. Pressure the gold. Having siege can be helpful if this ever comes over to address you. Sometimes with Berbers, though, you just gotta take fights all the time with knights and hope to chew up the counter units. By the way, if you're ever in these positions, you need to delete these farms, guys. Because what happens is, let's say this guy finishes his farm. Even if you have auto farm on, they will not reseed that individual farm if there's free farms to take. So you're going to see a cycle of villagers just go underneath these donjons, which could be problematic. Oh, man. Speaking of problematic. Whoa, who's this problematic for? Do you see this? That's a lot of knights. Archers go in to kill vills, but that's a lot of knights. There's not enough pikemen. There's not enough sergeants. And all the donjons could go down if there's not more support. Pikes are on the way. So that could be good. But Eli's going to clear that group. Still, the donjons are pretty freaking strong, though. And there's 3 of them producing pikemen. Whoa. Yeah, you can't push that. The fact that you could produce pikes from them saves this position, I think. If you had to produce pikes from home, it would just take too long. He's going to be up to 20 pikemen. So Eli needs an attack to happen here. Normally what happens is, when your opponent's forward like this, I don't know how to describe this, actually. I don't know, it's just like oh so complicated to figure out what to do right now. If you're Eli, because you can't engage here. I guess every time he's shown up here, there's been walls. There's this TC does build a bit faster for red. TC's going to go up. It's a good TC. 4 dungeons now. Firing on all these farms and firing on the gold. Eli has no gold income. Does he see the gold on the right? He does not see this. Should know it's a feature of the map, though. And oh, man, if these knights get in with all the pikemen forward, it could be such a big issue for Z40. But Z40 gets the stone walls down. Why not, right? You got to keep these knights out right now. Another unique game. I can tell you it's easier to play this game right now if you're red. Because these fortifications are no joke. You're denying gold on a map where it's hard to find golds. I wonder if Eli is going to build up towards a forward castle. Does red see any of this, by the way? Red could see the villagers dropping off stone on that mining camp. It almost feels natural for Eli. You can't castle here. The dungeons will range it. He's desperate because he doesn't have gold access. I think he tries to castle here. I could see that being denied as well if red notices. Crazy game. Red's checking the hill, maybe thinking Eli's over here. Remember, there's usually golds here. It is there, but red has missed out on it. Eli looking with those knights, prodding with these knights. These knights might actually break through. Villagers are quite a long ways away from this. Eli will soon have enough stone for a castle. On one hand, if it's offensive, it could be really strong. But on the other hand, as we see a perfectly timed gate there from red, you might want a defensive castle so you can make camel archers. And oh, he has had a gold here. My apologies. Okay, so this I don't mind. I think he also could have considered the hill if there was a gold there, but again, there's not. This is a good castle. And now he could consider camel archers. This hurts. Knights go down. And again, a very close game. Knights still could get a lot of value from Eli. He needs to make sure he keeps them alive. And, oh god, Sergeants found the eco. 3 villagers killed from red in this game. Surprised us not more. Total KD, still pretty close. Camel Archer's on the way for Eli. It's an amazing unit. No stone income right now for red. He's going to change that by dropping a town center here. Dang. I don't think it's easy for the Camel Archers to dominate. Well, let me reword that. I think it is extremely difficult to macro right now if you're Eli. Right? You've got dungeons on your face. Your TC will get shot down eventually. You have to micro your knights and Camel Archers a lot more than red just has to patrol its pikes. Red should climb significantly in the eco lead. But yes, Camel Archers, once they get to about like 5 to 10, can be very dangerous for red. Which is why I think red's going to probably buy a castle somewhere defensively. Oh god, he's dropping more dungeons! There's more of them! That's so good! How do you stop that? It's so amazing. The weakness of the Camel Archer, too, is you have to be in one spot with it at all times, right? And they still take bonus damage from pikemen. So you can't just, like, you know, you have to, look, hit, run, hit, run. How are you going to farm when you're doing all that? And then he looks somewhere else because there's sergeants underneath his TC, and now he's losing his town center to sergeants, guys. This is a new meta coming straight out of Taiwan, and it's beautiful. Unless your name is Eli, then it's probably very painful and embarrassing. But I think it's good. I really do. And I think it's going to win him the game right here. A big economic lead for red. He'll lose army here, which he'll be disappointed by. But Eli just doesn't have a good economy. It's just a horrible situation. Sergeants have 5 pierce armor in castle. And again, 75 HP, right? But 5 pierce armor means that the Camel Archers are still doing decent damage with 7 plus 2 attack, so 9 damage. But your production buildings for the sergeants are towers that are pretty tanky. And you also have a tech in your castle that gives you a lot of free sergeants. But that's, okay, Knight and Camel Archer. This should be really good for Eli. We still have a game. We still have a game. I think all the sergeants die here, right? They've got some extra tanky melee armor as well. There's also a monk. Can someone tell me the cost of a sergeant real quick? I don't think that's a bad trade. I guess, you know, they are cheaper knights as well from Berbers. But I think Eli expected a better fight there. I know I certainly did. And I think now that Red's realizing that Camel Archers could become an issue, now is where you drop that castle. And oh boy, I didn't mean right there. But he needs gold. Okay. Is he still going to build that one? I'm a little concerned. Eli wants to drop a castle too. Red, just make one defensive on your wood here, man. What a ridiculous game. Look at Eli's TC. His Ville's over here. He never found that golden stone. That would have been so nice for him. And Red's like, I'm Sicilians. I build castles 50% faster. This castle's fine. He's given up on the sergeants, though, guys. He's just going to go for light calf. And he will have to hope to avoid these camel archers, it looks like. Is Eli out of gold pretty soon? Well, I can't see this gold, so that's an option. Stone back there, too. Eli's got 8 on food, though. He's going fast imp. Makes sense. You're never going to compete with the economy at this stage. The best way to get benefit from your camel archers and your castles as soon as possible is go to the Imperial Age. Even just affording the bracer upgrade would make these camel archers a lot stronger. And then obviously Trebs would be huge as well. Oh, man, the eco's so rough. So difficult. And what this gives is Red time to get some of these other upgrades. But I don't think Light Cav is it, man. I like Light Cav if you wish to raid. Raiding makes a lot of sense. He doesn't know about this castle, so this is kind of a hard area to raid. If Eli was over here, Red would have found it, then he could raid. But the same theme is what we'd seen in the previous game, and this is going to end up being a great upload for the main YouTube channel as well, so if you didn't see the previous game, it was probably uploaded within the last couple days from the same series. But yeah, anyways, the theme is that Red has had the more economic situation. The difference, though, is that Red was very aggressive in this game, whereas he wasn't in the previous game. Is Sicilians a good civ to start with? I don't think it's a bad civilization to start with. Starting the game ultimately comes down to... I think the number one thing that you should try if you're looking to start out this game is pick a civ that you think is cool. Obviously, winning's fun, right? But the reality is, 95% of the player base, it doesn't matter about the civ. It just matters about how you're performing and playing in the game. This game's been around a long time. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. There's so many civs. Go through the civs. See what tickles your fancy, and then just stick with that. But I think Sicilians are pretty good because they have access to a lot of things, right? So they have good knights, they have good enough archers, good enough siege. But it depends what... The number one thing which should dictate that, I think, is just what you think would be fun. If you want options, Sicilians are very good, yes. If you want to be really annoying and confuse the crap out of your opponent, Sicilians are good too with this strat. No Imperial Age for Red. Guys, he's massing rams here. He's going light cap. I would like to see a few knights, possibly. I'm going to try and ram push this down. Now, he's got double the economy. If he takes out even a couple trebuchets and one castle, it could be game over. Because everything for Eli, and I mean everything, is all about camel archers and trebs right now. Red's going to lose a lot of units. He's lost a ton of units in this game. But all the units he's lost has given him time. And Eli's going to see that siege workshop, and he's going to see the light cav, and he's going to think his opponent's imping. Light cav running in to raid here. If they found the back area, it'd be nice. Eli did pre-wall that, though, which I think is very nice. Oh my goodness, there's 26 light cav with 11 more on the way. I think it would make sense to try and go for the Imperial Age right now if you're Red, but he just wants to push this back and maybe then he'll do it. Treb exposed, light cav going to die, but the camel archers have to back away, and Red says, screw your Trebs. I'm going to drop a castle right next to this. And if he takes out the mangonel from Eli, he will then have the rams in order to take out the castle from blue, and Eli's like, what? What is this? Where did this come from? Who is this player? What is this strategy? What is this game? Z40 has played so incredibly well in this series. He was the favorite here. I knew he would be well prepared. And, I mean, Murder Holes is coming in. If you see Murder Holes being researched at a high level, that tells you that something's gone wrong. Because usually players don't research Murder Holes, because if Murder Holes has any effect, they're probably... Like, if Murder Holes is needed, they're probably already going to lose that castle. It's probably already really bad for them. And this is an example of that. That was amazing. Someone says, the resource management hurts my soul. Well, what about the castle management? What about the map control? What about the eco balance? The eco balance is really good. He just doesn't... He didn't want to make knights. He clicks up to imp. It is in there somewhere behind villagers. And now, I do not see an easy way out of this for Eli. Because at all times, he has to protect his trebs. So if he has to stay near his trebs, then he can't raid the opponent. But he also has to raid the opponent. So he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Great damage control here from Eli, so he doesn't lose all those villagers. And he does what he has to do. Backs away onto the near the trebuchets right now. He'll keep those trebs alive. Those trebs are not going to be able to contest the castle. 2 minutes now until Red's in the Imperial Age. And I'm sure Eli's feeling it. I'm sure he knows that Red's eventually going to hit him. Because he hasn't been able to hit Red's economy at all. Random Rams ramming their way through here eventually. Eli also... That's his gold income. And just 14 Camel Archers. Camel Archer, a great unit, yes. The economy from Red is incredibly expansive. Still refuses to spend gold. I mean... Make knights, dude. Make sergeants, actually. Sergeants and then upgrading to elite sergeant would arguably be the better play. Because they have really high pierce armor when they're elite. But, oh, man, this hurts so much if you're Eli. And obviously, the previous game is also still probably living in his mind as well. It was such a good one. Okay, he's got 3 trebs. He might take out Red's castle here. Still only 16 armies, 0 on golds. About to have a few more villagers on stone. 130 villagers versus 44. Dang. I think Z40's macro, micro, his transitions to unit types, his ability to bank gold has been amazing this series. And he will move on to the big boys, or, you know, the league below the big boys, depending on how big we're talking. He moves on to gold. With that result, moved his whole way through silver in the month of July. Congratulations to Z40. I'm really excited to see this guy. Here's the thing. He seems really prepped for the maps, and he's got some unique strats. And what always happens every single time in gold and platinum. Again, gold's going to be ranked 25 to 48 in the world, right? He's going to be slotted into one of those groups. The big names, they don't train, right? They're like, okay, I'll get some wins. So the goal for Z40, and same with anyone who's moving from silver to gold, is just don't get relegated in gold. Because they go from winning silver to really struggling against the gold players. So I'm really going to have my eye out on him the first 2 weeks in particular. I actually won't be able to cast because I will be in Australia. But it'd be interesting to see if maybe he could do something like this against a really strong player. Anyways, what a run from Eli, though. Again, this guy was not expected to get to the 4th round. I hope this encourages him and he continues to play. I think if he combines his wackiness and like some of his off-meta strats with a little bit more meta from time to time, like I think he could have a lot more confidence in his ability, and try out some different strategies and get better, right? Absolutely can get better. Exciting to see someone that's 2K be able to make it to the final round there and beat so many big opponents. Resources collected in this game, insanely strong from Red. 55,000 resources collected. And it was all on the back of that, the little Donjon Pike play that he had. Eli finally cleared up all the sergeants, all the pikes. Probably felt great, but at that point he was 30 or 40 villagers behind. Another game where Eli has the better KD. So yeah, that could tell you that maybe, okay, Castellate Sergeants aren't OP, but it allows you to get a lead, which was obviously why Red ended up winning the game due to the economy. Good stuff. Yeah, Z40, very strong, great player. And he'll be rooting for Cloud, his Taiwanese, I don't know if they're teammates, but another player from Taiwan who I think he was probably training with. Cloud will be playing Fire this week as well. So it could have two players from Taiwan going into the top 48 in the world.